This time on Talking Vehicles with Joe, let's talk about gasoline. Something anyone who drives has to buy regularly is gasoline, unless you own a battery electric vehicle. By the way, I took the plunge and bought a BEV battery electric vehicle recently. I now own one battery electric vehicle and one with an internal combustion engine. Sometime in the future, I'm going to do a video that's a comparison of the two. Anyway, for now, let's talk about gasoline. When your gas gauge starts pointing towards that E, you have to start looking for a gas station. If you're like most people, you look for two things: convenience and price. You probably give little, if any, thought to what brand of gasoline you're buying or the quality of it. I mean, after all, gasoline is gasoline, right? Or is it? A couple of decades ago, vehicle manufacturers and the petroleum industry got together and created a new standard for gasolines. They did this because the new technology vehicle manufacturers had to develop to make engines more powerful, use less fuel, and make less emissions required gasolines that were higher quality. Now, there are minimum government standards for gasoline quality and performance and how the measurement of octane occurs and the amount of additives to help keep the fuel system clean. The fuels that meet the higher standards exceeding the government minimums are labeled top tier. They have the highest level of additives to deter the deposits of varnish and carbon that happen from the normal process of operating an internal combustion engine. Several vehicle manufacturers recommend using top-tier gasolines in their vehicles. Is it important to follow that recommendation? Well, what happens if you don't? Top-tier gasolines are the most consistent for reduced incidence of fuel system contamination caused by carbon deposits. Varnish and carbon deposits can cause an engine in a vehicle to not function properly. If they occur excessively, you might experience rough running, sluggish response, stalling, lower fuel mileage, and a check engine light coming on the dash. Your emissions will also be increased. Those symptoms and conditions don't occur overnight. The buildup of contamination happens over time. Once it does occur, it's an expensive procedure to correct the problem. It's true that top-tier gasoline costs a few cents a gallon or more than other gasoline. But I believe over the long run, you most likely will be saving yourself an expensive repair or service, or at least delaying it for a much longer period of time. Now, how do you find top-tier gasoline? Well, you go to www.toptiergasoline.com. There's a station locator on that site. I recommend that you find and use top-tier gasoline to deter the problems that can occur without using it. By the way, Costco gasoline is top tier, and if you're a member, you may pay way below market price for it. Now, what about the additives that you can buy to dump in your gas tank that promise to clean up deposits or keep them from happening? Do they work? Are they worth the money? There's lots of opinions about that, but in my experience, certain additives can help reduce the incidence of fuel system contamination if you use them regularly as a preventative. If the problem has already occurred, again, in my opinion, they're not as effective in removing the contaminants. If they were powerful enough to remove them, they damage critical components in the fuel system. Personally, I stick with top-tier fuel, especially if you have an engine that says GDI, which means gasoline direct injection. Because of the way that engine and fuel system are configured, it really needs the extra resistance to carbon deposits top-tier fuel provides. Now let's talk about the octane rating of gasolines. When you pull up to the pump at a gas station, you usually see either 3 nozzles or there might be just 1 nozzle. Next to the nozzle or nozzles are either yellow buttons or stickers with big black numbers on them. The numbers are usually 87, 89, and the third one is either 91, 92, or 93. That's the octane rating of the gasoline that will come from that nozzle. Now, most people look at the price and pick the one labeled 87 because it's the least expensive. In most cases, that's fine because most cars are designed to operate efficiently with 87 octane gasoline. Now, what just is octane and what do those numbers mean? Is the higher number and therefore the more expensive one automatically better? It may surprise you to find out that the octane rating of gasoline is a measurement of its resistance to combust or burn. In other words, the higher the octane number, the more heat and pressure it can resist and needs before it explodes. So why would you want a gasoline that doesn't explode as readily? The simple answer is your engine creates heat and pressure when it's running. If the gasoline you use can't resist that amount of heat and pressure, it will explode before it should. This is called pre-ignition, and that will reduce the amount of power the engine makes, hurt your fuel mileage, and increase emissions. Over the long term, pre-ignition can also damage the engine. Engineers design engines to achieve carefully balanced goals of power, economy, low emissions, drivability, and durability. The fuel it's designed to function on is a critical component of meeting those goals. My advice is to follow the manufacturer recommendation for the grade of fuel you use. Again, most engines are designed to perform properly on 87. But if you buy the higher octane, will it do better? Now I'm going to tell you what I do when I purchase gasoline for my vehicle. The vehicle has a 2.0-liter four-cylinder direct-injected turbocharged engine. Mouthful, huh? It's factory rated at 227 horsepower. The manufacturer says the engine should have gasoline with a minimum octane of 87. Now, I purchased this vehicle brand new, and the dealership gave me a full tank of gas when I bought it. I assume it was 87. The interesting thing about this engine in this vehicle is that in another vehicle the manufacturer produces with the same engine and transmission combination, they recommend gasoline with a minimum octane rating of 91, and the engine is rated at 11 more horsepower on the premium fuel. Now, I drove my vehicle until that tank of regular was almost gone. I checked the trip computer to see what the average mile per gallon was. I then filled the tank with 93 octane premium and drove the vehicle until that was almost gone. I drove virtually the same places under very similar conditions. When I checked the trip computer after that tank, it showed an average mile per gallon almost 15% better than the first tank. The vehicle also felt more responsive to me as well, but that's purely subjective. Now, the 15% increase in mileage doesn't make up entirely for the additional cost per gallon of premium. In my area, premium's about 80 cents a gallon more than regular. Despite that, I've kept using the premium for 4 reasons. Number 1, a more responsive engine means it's tuned for better efficiency. The engine control computer will tune the engine as it's operating. Now, that should help extend the life of the engine components, especially those that control emissions. Many gasoline companies' premium fuels have higher levels of detergents designed to help keep engines cleaner from carbon deposits. Direct injection engines definitely need the help from staying clean from carbon deposits. Number 3, as an engine ages, it will develop carbon deposits on places like the top of the pistons, the valves, the exposed surfaces of the piston rings. This can create hot spots that cause pre-ignition that damage an engine. The higher octane fuel may help keep the engine cleaner and will definitely help resist pre-ignition. Number 4, turbocharged engines create more heat and cylinder pressure. Premium should perform better under those conditions. Remember, not all vehicles are designed to run on 87 octane gasoline. Mini Cooper used to recommend 89 octane for its base engine. Now, it's been about 5 years since I've been in a Mini Cooper. That may have changed. Many high-performance engines require either a minimum octane of 91 or higher. Check your owner's manual to make sure you're using the correct octane recommended or required for your engine. The brand of fuel and octane you use is your call. Follow the manufacturer's guidelines for the minimum octane rating, and my experience tells me that top tier is a must. Higher octane in some cases can have benefits too. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please take a moment to like and share this video. And subscribe if you haven't yet. Let me know your opinion about the contents and make it in a comment. Do you agree or disagree, and why? I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I'll see you next week when another Talking Vehicles with Joe is posted. Thanks for watching.